No more boring pork tenderloin. I'm going to show you how to make the best smoked pork tenderloin that you've ever had. Today for our smoked pork loin, we're starting with a 9-pound pork loin. The reason we decided to buy the whole pork loin at our local grocery store because the ones that were half the size were quite literally the same exact amount of money. So I figured it's going to be more bang for your buck. You can cut this into chops, you can cut this into half, you can save one half for later, but today we're going to cook both sides. I'm just going to cut it to make it a little bit easier to handle. Now I'm just going to cut this pork loin in half. I chose this pork loin because it had a decent amount of fat running through. You can see that it's nothing special, but it's the best that I could find. And with our knife, we're just going to trim a little bit off of the sides. I don't think this is 100% necessary, but I don't want these edges to crisp up, and I want a nice shape. For our pork loin today, we're going to go over top with our beef seasoning Southern Belle. I'm going to start on the bottom side because I want the top side to be my presentation. One of the things I always tell people with Southern Belle is it is a beef seasoning, but it's very savory. It's got a lot of those notes that go really well with pork, chicken, fish, absolutely anything. So I always like to make sure that I see pepper when I'm seasoning. If I don't see pepper, I stop, I shake the bottle, and I'll start reapplying. Obviously, we want to make sure that we get both sides. We're also going to make sure to lay this on its side, hit every single angle. And that's all there is to it on the seasoning. We wanted that savory approach today. Now we are going to go outside, get the smoker ready, and we are taking a little bit of a different approach with the cook today. So the reason that we're cooking this is because my good buddy George Watts, owner and pitmaster of GW's in San Juan, Texas, they recently hit number 5 in Texas on the Texas Monthly Top 50 list. Their pork loin was out of this world. So I reached out to him and I asked him exactly how I should cook this today to try my best to duplicate what I had this past weekend. And so we have a little bit of a different approach we'll take out here. I can't wait to show you. Today we are going to be using my Outlaw stick burner. I typically will fill this up with lump charcoal, but today we're going to start with a much smaller bed of charcoal because I want this fire to start really low. I'll start up some tumbleweeds. Now the reason we're starting with a smaller coal bed today is because I want to start with a much lower fire. So typically pork loin in general has a very bland taste. That's why we added a salty seasoning. If you guys don't have Southern Belle, that's completely fine, but you can make sure to add plenty of salt to give that pork loin some flavor. Now we're starting with the lower fire because I want it to be a little bit of a dirty smoke. We're going to put that pork loin on before this smoker reaches temp. It's going to catch that smoke flavor and will gradually rise the temperatures so we can make sure that we render fat. Again, this all came from my buddy George. He helped me out a lot when it came to smoking on any stick burner in general, especially in a restaurant setting. My Outlaw's running right at 150 degrees. We have not added any wood yet. You can see that there's not much smoke coming, but that's going to change in just a second. Since we're at about 150 degrees, I'm going to go ahead and throw the loins on. I'm going to try and place this nice and straight on both of these loins. So because I grabbed everything, you can see there's a little bit of that seasoning missing. I'll go ahead and retouch it up real quick. Right here on the front. Now we're going to focus on our fire that is barely going. You can see I have some good coals here. They're not all the way white. That's completely fine with me. I got the smallest piece of wood that I could find, and I'm just going to throw this right in the middle. Now because we don't have a nice white coal bed just yet, this is going to take a little bit longer to actually catch. And that's completely fine with me. I can already smell that wood. It has a really, really good smoke flavor. If you guys look at the stack, you can see that there's plenty of smoke coming out of there already. Now this wood is catching, but it's taking a little bit longer. And that's exactly what I'm looking for, to add that smoke flavor to this pork tenderloin. And we're going to rise these temps over time. So I'm going to close this down. And now we're just going to be patient with our cook. At this point moving forward, we want to clean up that smoke a little bit and we want those temperatures to rise to make sure that we render fat. Now George didn't exactly tell me to do this, but based off of the conversations that we had, this is kind of what I took from it and this is the approach that I'm going to take. If you guys want to learn exactly how he does it, you got to head down to GW's in San Juan. He's incredible, the team is incredible, and what they're doing is amazing. They are, again, the reason that we're making this pork loin today. I'm really hoping that I can recreate it and not mess it up. It's been right at 45 minutes on our pork loin. You can see that the smoke is clearing up a little bit here, and I'm getting right up to around 250 degrees. So we want to keep rising those temps, start rendering that fat. We want to take a look at our pork tenderloin, And from here, I can tell you that these are looking amazing. The bark is nice and set. I'm not gonna spritz this or anything at any point during this cook, but I am gonna take 2 thermometers. I have my ThermalWorks smoke here. I'm gonna probe right in the middle. You can see in one of our loins we're right at 99 and the other one 106. I want these both to reach 145 degrees before we pull them. At this point, all we need to do is keep adding wood and keep the temps between 275 and 300 degrees until we reach 145 in the middle of that loin. It's been right at 2 hours on our pork tenderloins. This one on the left, which is closest to the stack, just hit 145 degrees. So we're gonna go ahead and take this off. You can see it's got a beautiful color. This one here has just a few more minutes, so we'll let it go to 145 degrees and then we'll pull this one as well. It was a 2-hour cook on our pork tenderloin. Now we're just gonna get this inside and we're gonna get this wrapped on some foil. I've got 2 sheets of foil here. We're just gonna wrap everything up nice and tight. And this is gonna go into an insulated cooler, a Cambro, a food warmer, anything that you've got. Today I'm just gonna throw it into my oven and this is gonna sit with no heat on for a full hour. It's been an hour rest on our pork tenderloin. We're just gonna unwrap this up. Oh my gosh. Gosh, that smells so good. You get the smell of that smoke right away. It smells beyond incredible. I can't even explain it. And that's the benefit of putting it on early, even before it gets to temp. So this was a short cook. It took us 2 hours to reach 145 degrees internal. And if we didn't have that little bit of dirty smoke in the beginning, we'd be getting a really, really clean smoke and we probably wouldn't get as much flavor as I really think we're gonna get on this pork loin today. The color looks unreal. We're just gonna go ahead and put it down. Of course, you already know. We're gonna keep all these juices. That's just natural from the pork. Now we're gonna take some slices of our pork. Oh my Lanta. Feels really amazing there. Nice cut. My knife feels really good going through this pork. You could see that it's cutting through pretty easily. So I know this is nice and tender. We'll check on the moisture level in just a second once we're done cutting everything. But I can tell you one thing for sure, this feels really easy with my knife. This is giving me the consistency feel of a turkey breast, I would say. Something I've been cooking a lot of lately. We've got everything all sliced up. I'm just gonna take a piece right out of the middle. From behind here, I can see a nice defined smoke ring, everything fully cooked. And of course, now it's time to take a bite. Looks so good, the moisture on it. It's kind of like a little brisket. It has that little fold, it claps, comes apart. Oh my gosh. Man, no more boring pork loin ever again. I think there's a few keys here. So number one, getting that smoke flavor off the beginning and then gradually getting up to temp. You still want to get up to temp because you do want to render the fat on the bottom of this pork loin. And when you do render that fat properly, it turns into an experience. I've talked about it before, just the same with brisket, just the same with pork belly. You have to make sure that fat is rendered. So you do want to get to that 275 or 300 degrees just to make sure that you hit these points. Now also that smoke flavor comes through perfectly. It's not overbearing and it's not bitter. This is truly a delicious bite. Now, I will say this much. My buddy George down in San Juan, GW's Barbecue, they do make it better, but this is a damn good consolation prize. Shout out to George, shout out to GW's. If you guys are in the area, you have to go over there and check it out. A really good dude making really good barbecue. We appreciate him for all the tips. As always, why did I say that so loud? We really appreciate you guys tuning into this video. My kids are behind and they're like, oh, what are you doing that for? Thanks, and we'll see you on the next one. I'm gonna keep eating this pork loin. This is beyond incredible.